I'm Cannon, Poet Laureate of Oshkosh. I am your friendly neighborhood writer and poet. Today I want to talk to you about a poet that is in your neighborhood, in your family. They may not even publish other than just for their own circle of people that they know. I have known quite a few writers that have never been published. And one of the things I've been exploring as a poet laureate is how things can be contradictory, and yet I can believe both of them. Here's an example. I do not believe I'm going to change the world or heal our divide by poetry, by writing poetry and speaking about it. However, I also believe that one person can change the world. I believe a poem can change the world. Here's another juxtaposition. Poetry is small. It takes up a small amount of things published, and there are very few poet superstars. Yet poetry can have a big impact on our society. And I want to celebrate the hometown poets that reach only a few people, but those few people is enough. Their impact is felt by those few people lucky enough to hear and read their poems. I'm not so sure those people are even aware of the impact that they make. There was an elderly lady that used to come to the Oshkosh Writers Group, Dorothy Maxwell. Honestly, the point of the group is to critique, get input, and not just read her stuff. And Dorothy just read, but for her that was okay. She had her poems collected in a comb-bound book, one of those things that are done at Kinko's. Her poems meant enough for her loved ones to type them up and get them bound, and she carried them with them and read from them. I really don't remember any of her lines. I can still feel them though. And I can imagine the impact she had on her loved ones when she wrote about them. I do remember the impact she had on me as she read them with her raspy voice. The smile she had as she read them. I do remember they tried to capture the beauty of the world around her. And that certainly seems like a wonderful thing to do. And so now I'm going to read a poem I wrote about the writers of the writers group, those that have passed away. I'm going to be reading from my chapbook. And forgive me if I mess up. I haven't read this poem a lot of times because it is so personal. It's not something I would send in to be published. But it was important for me to write it. Us. Ken rolled cigarettes while he read, rambling through tattered notebooks, holding ideas like a secret code. Jim talked philosophy, usually at the bar, sometimes even listened to suggestions. Dorothy collected her poems in coil-bound books, wrote of simple leisures and simple treasures. With raspy voice and smile, she spoke the way every grandma should. Frank, small town, seasoned citizen, hair on his chin, played with words, his passion etched memories in stone. Margot lived in Mars, made cornhusk dolls, and friends with her stories. Bob versed in his marine maneuvers, camping in cathedrals, beer and teaching. The Kinnickinnick River runs through his heart. Carl ambled into meetings in flannel shirts and suspenders, read off his clever poems like he had a foot up on your fender. Paul applied his one-bow glasses, loved time, nature, ecology of loving his wife. Chuck, gnarled hands, held diaries, history of farming, dairies, breezed through lilacs, hardships, the prosperity of family. These people are people that I will never forget, and I can only imagine the impact they had on their loved ones. In the poem, I speak about Paul. Paul had a profound effect on me. Near the end of his life, he had me help him bind and publish, actually, his collection of poems in a book called Nuances of Time. It was a lifetime of poetry, and I really wanted to make it big for him, but I don't think he really cared. What he was interested in was getting 50 or so copies to hand out to people, to his family, his loved ones, and to cherish friends that he met through volunteering many, many hours at the Mercy Medical Center. Thank you.